Hi. So in this video we will discuss about how to do the pre-processing technique with the help of Python scikit-Learn. Previously we have discussed about how to do the pre-processing with the help of Pandas library. So scikit-Learn is a very optimal or very useful, and generally people use scikit-Learn libraries to pre-process it. So directly go straight into the code. So the first cell is the data processing, importing the library. We will use NumPy and Pandas, and the pd dot option display max rows is to display how many rows that it will display the output. Import it, and the second thing is I want to mention there is quite updation into some scikit-Learn libraries, so I will use both of them. Mostly in the website you will see that conventional method people use to pre-process the data. So I will use both of the techniques and I'll show you how the difference between the two. So the first thing, we'll import, for example, data set, and we'll take the copy into df1 and df2. And first method I will show how to pre-process with the help of scikit-Learn with the help of conventional method, and that will be depreciated in the version of scikit-Learn 0.22. So that is mostly quite people use. And second one is the updation version that people that we need to adapt it, so that we should tackle with the depreciation error, and the x1 y1 x2 y2. Import it. Okay, so the data is again simple. For example, let's see df1. So data is same: country, age, salary, purchased. Null value in both of the fourth row and sixth row. So first of all, we will take care of missing data. So in this, the first method with the help of scikit-Learn dot preprocessing import imputer. Okay, so we'll say imputing the null value. So we'll use imputer. I will have some object of imputer, and in the parameter that we use is missing value is nan. You can just check how much parameter it generally have. So execute it. So it get executed, so you can check the parameters into it. Okay, so parameters missing value, strategy, and you can see that missing value are nan. We have to give nan. It means that the default is nan that we need to set. So we have set it here, but if you don't set, by default it will understand that missing value have been referred or inferred by nan. The strategy is default mean. You can also use median or most frequent or mod, by the way, and axis is equal to 0. Okay, 0 then is along the column, 1 along the row. Okay, so you will fit it and we can transform it. Okay, and the value that we use is the row, every row, and the column is up to 1 to 3. So it means 0 1 2 3 is not included. It means age and salary only be included. Okay, that's 1 to 3, and we can collectively do this two process in the one line, that is fit underscore transform. Okay, and in place of imputer we can give directly xi. Let me show you how to do that. Okay, so with the help of that we can do the same thing collectively in a one single line. Okay, so both way you can do that. Okay, let me remove it. So after executing, you can see that there is some depreciation error. The class imputer is depreciated, like deprecated imputer was deprecated version 0.20 and will be removed in 0.22. So better is to use impute.simple imputer from Sklearn instead. So that is depreciation warning, and for now it will be not a problem, but after some day when it will be updated, then they might remove this imputer from Sklearn preprocessing. After that, how to cope up with this we will also understand in this video. So now after taking care of missing value, we will check that whether the problem have been rectified or not. Okay, so if we just check, yes, so you can see that 63.77 and 38.77, so the data have been taken care of. Okay, so after that what we do, encoding categorical values and encoding the independent variable. It means in this independent variable, this is features generally, this is not dependent variable. So with independent variable we have categorical value of France, Spain, Germany. This is generally string value. Now we will convert it into like dummy variables that previously we have done. So what we will do, the first thing is label encoder. We will do label encoding. It means the France will given the label of 0, Spain 1, Germany 2. Okay, in this way, in this fashion. So for that we have label encoder, so that contain to Sklearn preprocessing library, and also one hot encoder. After giving label, it get converted into dummy variables. Okay, so label encoder work like a pd.factorize, and one hot encoder work as a dummy variable. Okay, get dummies. So label encoder, how we do that? First we will initialize the object of label encoder, and after that we will use fit transform, and you know the first column we are dealing with, okay, 0th column. Okay, and it will give some output, and that output will be stored in the same X first column. After that we will use one hot encoder and categorical value, categorical feature. It have some of parameters that you can see after we will execute it. So one of the parameters that it have is categorical features. So 0, it means 0th column. Okay, if that column is something different, we have to give the something different value. Okay, so that is stored in one hot encoder object, and after that we will do fit transform dot to array. So to array we have to use because after transform it, we have to convert that dummy variable into array. Okay, so whatever x1 will get, we will have a matrix type. Okay, so not in data frame, in the form of matrix output will get. Also label encoder, so we'll encode, we'll only have to encode, you have to use label encoder for output, because output have or dependent variable have only 2 values, yes or no. So label encoder work great for that thing. Okay, so okay, label in, okay, we need to import the libraries first. Okay, so first input it and then execute. Okay, so after that we will see at what is the value of x1. So here, so you can see that 1 0 0 4.4, it means 44, and this is like 72,000. Okay, this is the first value from first row value from this. Okay, so the output is given into array. Okay, you can check the type with the help of type. Okay, so if you check the type, it will give you numpy array. Okay, so it's n dimensional array which is of numpy type. Okay, so generally if we stored array, it will store the array of numpy. Okay, so n dimensional numpy array, it will become not a data frame. So similarly you can also check what is the value of y1? So that is a 0 1 0. We have only used a label encoder for it, that's why only 0 1, and we have used one hot encoder, that's why it contain also the value of x1. So just a minute, yeah, 1 0 0. Okay, but if you can see here that there is some warning message here, like for example category is equal to auto, and the second is deprecation warning. So how we'll remove it? With the help of some updated import command or some of the updated libraries, we can remove this error. Okay, so this is for imputer. So let me just add another hypertext. So we use imputer in it, that is simple imputer, and I'll mark it markdown. Okay, so with the help of that, in Jupyter Notebook, generally if you want to write something, they generally it's a very good way of commenting your code, and you can use markdown, and you can also write some of equations and mathematical equation that generally we call is latex. Okay, so latex language you can just find all the internet. So first we import libraries. So sklearn dot impute import simple imputer. So in sklearn it have been updated that for using for impute you have to import simple imputer, which is there was warning. Okay, so you have to use import impute dot simple imputer from sklearn instead. So what we are doing here, and the process is quite same. So if you use simple imputer, there is a missing value, there is numpy dot nan, there we have to use np dot nan, and strategy is equal to mean. Okay, here we were giving something different. Missing value is equal to nan, that is in a inverted commas, and x is equal to 0. Here we don't have to mention any x's. Okay, it will understand that 1 to 3 we have to deal axis by column. Okay, so as this is a object and simple imputer, and let me just execute it, and let's just see the parameters. Okay, so that's missing values nan, you can write nan or numpy dot nan. Strategy you can just write mean, and there is no the parameters are called axis, and you can just read all the document here. Okay, so just fit and transform, you can do the same thing, dot fit transform in the single line will work same. Okay, after that, for giving dummy variables, we can simply use sklearn dot compose import column transformer. So here if you could just try to find, yeah, you can use column transformer instead, use the column transformer instead dot and deprecation warning. Okay, so column transformer contained in sklearn dot compose library. So here you import that class, and after that you don't need to use label encoder in it. Okay, so that is the one benefit that we got. We'll remove that label encoder. So just you need to handle the missing value. In this we use column transformer. So first initialize the object for the column transformer, give the value. So let me check after executing it what are the parameters that it generally have, and this is generally a transformer we apply, generally called a transformer, inside the square bracket, and inside this bracket we use one hot encoder, and the object that we have the class that we have initialized previously imported here, one hot encoder that we need to pass here. Okay, For that, we are sure that we need to import from Sklearn under preprocessing. After that, we can only pass it in column transformer, and 0 is for the column, which column that you need for column transformer, and remainder is called pass through. Pass through is generally that if you check that documentation, that if 0th column is given, that only column will get converted, and rest of the column will be remain will pass through, will not get affected. Otherwise, there is also other option that you can check for documentation. So that value we will pass here, and after that we'll store this in numpy array. So we'll pass numpy array. Previously we have given 2 array. Okay, for fit transform, here we give numpy dot array transformer dot fit transform x2. Okay, because we have gathered data for demonstration x2, and data type is numpy dot integer. Okay, so this we need to pass for numpy dot array. After that we will push it to x2, and for y2 the same label encoder. Okay, so let's just execute it. Okay, so after that, if you just check the data x2, so the value is quite clean and neat. Okay, so this is the required data. So simple imputer, and after that column transformer, very neat, there is no problem in it, and good to go. Okay, so and after that, scale the data. Scale data is very important, very easy in both of the step. Sklearn under preprocessing import standard scaler, that is the required library, and after that fit transform x2. So just check x2 that yes, so it will transform the value according to where there is 5 columns. So similarly here also 5 columns, and y2 is no need, is the value is from 0 to 1. Okay, so in that way you can use Sklearn for pre-processing technique. In the other, I will tell you how to use Sklearn for machine learning algorithm, what are the technique that you can import for different machine learning, how much benefits, and we'll do this thing in upcoming videos. So please share it, and please give your recommendation that if you find this post helpful, and how we can make it some more intuitive and better. So thank you so much, and stay tuned.